The Sikh Khalsa Army, also known as the Army of Punjab Army, or simply Sikh Army, was the military force of the Sikh Empire. It was formed in 1799 with the capture of Lahore by Ranjit Singh. From then on the army was modernized on Franco-British principles. It was divided in three wings: the Fauji Khas, elites, Fauji Ain, regular force, and Fauji Bikod, irregulars. Due to the lifelong efforts of the Maharaja and his European officers, it gradually became a prominent fighting force of Asia. Ranjit Singh changed and improved the training and organization of his army. He reorganized responsibility and set performance standards in logistical efficiency and troop deployment, maneuver, and marksmanship. He reformed the staffing to emphasize steady fire over cavalry and guerrilla warfare, improved the equipment and methods of war. The military system of Ranjit Singh combined the best of both old and new ideas. He strengthened the infantry and the artillery. He paid the members of the standing army from treasury, instead of the Mughal method of paying an army with local feudal levies. Before the reign of Ranjit Singh, the armies in Punjab consisted purely of cavalry. After Ranjit Singh became the Sardar of Sukerchakia Misl, he gradually unified most of the Punjab through conquests and diplomacy. However, the Afghans, the British and the Gurkhas remained a threat while his empire was in its infancy. Therefore, in 1805, he began recruiting regular forces and employing deserters from the East India Company as officers or soldiers. This latter tactic did not work particularly well because most of the deserters were constantly in touch with the British. The British were alarmed with the rapid conquests of Ranjit Singh and sent many diplomatic missions to help the Fulkian Sardars from a possible conquest of their lands and check the growing power of the Sikh sovereign. A Muslim regiment under Charles Metcalfe, 1st Baron Metcalfe, was sent to Amritsar for talks with the Maharaja. The soldiers went into the temple without taking their shoes off, and some Nihang guards unsheathed their sabers and challenged them. The Muslim soldiers formed a line and fired musket volleys, resulting in the death of many Nihangs whilst wounding others. This impressed Ranjit Singh. Realizing the power of the British Indian Army, he accepted the Treaty of Amritsar, 1809, and started modernizing his army on European principles. Throughout 1805, Ranjit Singh recruited many East India Company deserters in his army. The early results were unimpressive. During the visit of Charles Metcalfe, he was shown a band of soldiers, most of them wearing traditional kurtas and colorful turbans, while others wore European infantry ornaments. They had either traditional matchlock or European muskets. Previously, as the Sikhs refused to join infantry service, Pashtuns, Gurkhas and Purbias served in this sector of the army. However, with the passage of time and owing to Ranjit Singh's efforts, Sikhs too began to join the infantry in large numbers. In 1822, Ranjit Singh employed a veteran of the Napoleonic Wars, General Jean-Baptiste Ventura, to train the infantry in European style. In a few years, under his command, the infantry was modernized in French pattern. Similarly, in 1822, Ranjit Singh employed another French Napoleonic War veteran, General Jean-François Allard, to modernize the Sikh cavalry. In 1827, Claude Auguste Court was hired to modernize the artillery, and in 1832 Colonel Alexander Gardner was employed to modernize the artillery. Ranjit Singh wanted to westernize his army thoroughly. However, due to various reasons, he couldn't discard the military system that he had inherited from his forefathers. The military system of the Sikh Empire under Ranjit Singh finally evolved as a compromise between the old and the new ideas. Thus, the military system of the Sikh Empire is termed as a Franco-British system in the Indian subcontinent. Khalsa Sikh Army had three different types of army of Maharaja Ranjit Singh: Fauji Ain, Fauji Khas, Fauji Bikot. First, Fauji Ain infantry. Ranjit Singh was fully aware of the importance of infantry. The task of recruitment started after 1805 and continued throughout Ranjit Singh's reign. Earlier Sikhs refused to join it, but gradually Sikhs formed the bulk of the infantry. It was divided into battalions, companies and sections. Cavalry. The cavalry was very strong. It was divided into rizalas and had higher pay than the infantry. Artillery. Special attention was paid to the artillery and it also gradually became very strong. Second, Fauji Khas. The Fauji Khas was the elite wing of the army. It was strictly trained under French pattern and had a separate emblem and flag. It consisted of 4 infantry battalions, 2 cavalry regiments and 1 artillery troop. Its weapons and equipment, including clothing, was of the best kind. The Fauji Khas was supplied with the best available ammunition and they were very loyal to Ranjit Singh, whom they usually escorted. Third, Fauji Bika. The regular military force was backed up and supported by a further 52,000 well-trained and equipped professional-grade irregulars, known as Fauji Bika. In addition, a large reservoir of feudal and militia forces was available. Military jagirs were given to the ex-rulers of misls. They in turn had to give tax to the state or significant amount of soldiers, known as jagir or fauj. It consisted mostly of cavalry and infantry. It was the weakest part of the army. Other part of the irregulars consisted of the Akalis, also known as Nihangs. They were devout Sikhs, heavily armed with many traditional weapons and refused any kind of training. They only wore blue or yellow robes. Their leaders were Akali Phula Singh and Akali Sadhu Singh. They sustained heavy casualties in the Battle of Sobran. Sikh Khalsa Akali Nihangs Misldar Sowars were part of the Gorcharas. Another part of the irregular force were the Gorcharas and the Fauji Khilajat. Gorcharas were the relatives of the nobles of the Sikh Empire. They also refused any type of training and taunted usually the Europeans. The Fauji Khilajat was the army defending the forts and also acting as police. Each fort had 50 to 250 of these men and their officer was called Kildar or Thander. After the death of Ranjit Singh, the Sikh Empire witnessed the murders of Ranjit Singh's sons, one after another, organized by the Dogras. Then the Dogras urged the army to make the Lahore Durbar declare war on the British. They did so, and the Dogra-led Sikh army was betrayed by its commanders who revealed battle plans to the British, even though the Sikhs heroically resisted the British. This led to the defeat of the Khalsa and the British signed the Treaty of Lahore, which was mostly against Sikh sovereignty. Besides demanding a lot of money, the British imprisoned Jait Kaur, the Sikh regent, and maltreated her. The Sikh army was reduced to 20,000 infantry and 10,000 cavalry. The disbanded soldiers were also furious with the British administration. This led to the Second Anglo-Sikh War, in which the Sikhs won many battles, but finally lost the Battle of Gujarat. On March 10, 1848, Sikh leaders Chhatra Singh Atarola and Sher Singh Atarola were forced to surrender near Rawalpindi. On March 14, 1849, the Sikh army also surrendered to the British. Many soldiers, while laying their weapons down, started crying and saying, "Today Ranjit Singh has died." However, many Sikh army soldiers were allowed into the British Indian Army, where they served with distinction in numerous battles and wars under the British Crown.